This spine-chilling incident took place during the early 1990s at a secluded school camp, nestled deep within a foreboding forest. It was the kind of place that felt both enchanting and eerie, with tall, looming trees casting long, sinister shadows. One fateful night, as the moon hung ominously in the sky, a young student found themselves compelled to make a treacherous journey to the camp toilet. The nocturnal stillness was broken only by the distant chirping of crickets, and an unsettling sense of solitude seemed to envelop the area. From their tent, the student could spy the faint glow of the dimly lit toilet, beckoning them with its feeble light. As the student cautiously navigated the path back to their tent, a flickering beam of light caught their attention. To their dismay, they stumbled upon a sight that sent shivers down their spine. A mysterious man, an unknown figure in this remote wilderness, was wielding a flashlight and directing its beam at the side of the boys' tent. His actions seemed purposeful, as if he was intentionally creating eerie shadows that danced menacingly within. Caught off guard by the student's approach, the stranger hastily concealed his torch and began to loiter around the campsite, his presence becoming increasingly unnerving. The student, burdened by anxiety and the fear of reprimand for leaving their tent at night, couldn't sleep a wink. Instead, they lay wide-eyed, acutely aware of the stranger's unsettling presence. Time seemed to drag on endlessly, as the night wore on in a harrowing symphony of distant whispers and rustling leaves. The student's heart raced, their senses heightened by the darkness. And for what felt like an eternity, they witnessed the man's disturbing routine. For hours, he continued his clandestine ritual, moving from tent to tent, casting his light and emitting an eerie sound that seemed to echo through the stillness. When morning finally broke, the exhaustion of sleepless hours weighed heavily on the student's frail form. Their friends, blissfully unaware of the night's sinister events, couldn't help but jest at the student's exhaustion during breakfast. Concerned, one of the teachers approached, sensing something amiss. The student, driven by an overwhelming need to confide in someone, whispered their ordeal to the sympathetic teacher. The teacher's face twisted in horror, her eyes widening with disbelief and dread. "What camp security?" she exclaimed, her voice barely above a whisper. Alarmed, she hurriedly sought out one of the male teachers to relay the disquieting tale. Realization dawned upon them all. The campsite had never employed any security personnel. Panic set in, and the authorities were promptly notified. As word spread of the student's encounter with the unknown man, a chilling revelation surfaced. It appeared that a notorious sex offender, recently released from prison, had taken up residence in the nearby forest. The darkened woods that had once seemed like a backdrop for childhood adventures were now tainted by a sinister presence. The very environment that was meant to foster growth and camaraderie had unknowingly become the stage for a predator's wicked machinations. The police descended upon the camp, their presence a reminder of the evil that lurked just beyond the realm of innocence. The students were swiftly evacuated, their memories forever tainted by the realization that danger had been lurking in the shadows, masquerading as campsite security. The man was apprehended, but the damage inflicted upon the student's sense of security was irreparable. It was a crisp autumn morning when a group of eager campers embarked on a thrilling camping trip. The anticipation filled the air as the bus rumbled down a winding road deep into the heart of a remote forest. Excitement and nervous energy coursed through their veins as they neared their destination. As the bus came to a halt, the doors creaked open and the campers spilled out, eager to explore their surroundings. Among them was a young camper, full of enthusiasm and a sense of adventure. Being one of the first to disembark, they found themselves in need of a visit to the public bathroom, located just a short distance away. Unaware of the horrors that awaited them, the camper noticed a few harmless daddy-long legs crawling along the wall outside the bathroom. Insignificant as it seemed, they brushed off any concerns and proceeded to open the bathroom door. But as the door swung open, their world transformed into a waking nightmare. A ghastly sight greeted their eyes, a sight that would haunt their dreams for years to come. The bathroom, seemingly innocent from the outside, was transformed into a chamber of terror. It was as if the walls themselves were alive, pulsating with an infestation of daddy-long legs. The sheer magnitude of the arachnid army was overwhelming, their countless legs creating an eerie symphony of skittering and scuttling. The camper's heart pounded in their chest as they stood frozen in fear, staring at the writhing mass of spiders that engulfed every inch of the bathroom. The ceiling, the walls, even the sinks and toilets were teeming with these creatures, their presence suffocating and inescapable. The camper's mind raced with a cocktail of disgust, fear, and revulsion. How had this place been overrun by such an unrelenting army of arachnids? But the horrors didn't end there. The camper's sense of security was further shattered by the realization that their camp counselors possessed sadistic tendencies. Throughout the trip, these counselors delighted in sharing spine-chilling tales of horror, designed to keep the campers on edge. Every night around the campfire, they wove tales of malevolent spirits, deranged murderers, and vengeful ghosts that lurked within the very forest they were camping in. The campers listened with a mix of fascination and trepidation, their minds vulnerable to the manipulations of fear. Little did they know, their counselors had one last torment in store for them. In the dead of night, as darkness enveloped the camp, the counselors emerged from the depths of the woods, donning bloodied Jason masks, their screams piercing the stillness. This terrifying charade shook the campers to their core, eroding what little remained of their peace of mind. The combination of the spider-infested bathroom and the sadistic mind games played by their counselors became an unbearable ordeal. The once enchanting wilderness now held a sinister presence, every rustling leaf and flickering shadow instilling a sense of dread. Haunted by the harrowing experiences, the young camper sought solace within the confines of their tent. They huddled there, seeking refuge from the nightmares that unfolded in their waking hours. The sounds of the forest became a constant reminder of the terrors that awaited outside, and they clung to the thin fabric of their tent, hoping to shield themselves from the horrors lurking in the darkness. Days turned into nights, and the camping trip eventually came to an end. The campers returned home, forever scarred by the indelible memories of their time in the haunted forest. The daddy-long-legs and sadistic counselors had left an indelible mark on their psyches, forever altering their perception of the natural world and the fragility of their own minds. Deep in the heart of northern Ontario, a group of adventurous souls embarked on an arduous canoe trip through the untamed wilderness. The vastness of the landscape loomed before them, a daunting yet captivating canvas of towering trees, winding rivers, and shimmering lakes that seemed to stretch on forever. As they paddled through the crystal-clear waters of a serene lake, a sense of awe enveloped them. The tranquility was broken only by the gentle lapping of the waves against their canoes and the distant calls of unseen creatures. It was amidst this breathtaking backdrop that they stumbled upon a hidden gem, a secluded beach nestled in the bosom of nature's embrace. The beach, with its pristine sands and serene atmosphere, seemed like an oasis of beauty in the desolate wilderness. Drawn to its allure, the weary adventurers decided to make it their campsite for the night. Little did they know that their decision would plunge them into a nightmarish ordeal beyond their wildest imagination. Throughout the day, an unsettling aura seemed to permeate the air, casting an eerie pall over their surroundings. The vibrant colors of nature appeared muted. The once melodic songs of birds turned dissonant, and even the crackling campfire failed to provide the warmth and comfort it usually did. But try as they might, they couldn't discern the source of their unease. As night fell, casting a shroud of darkness over the landscape, a sense of foreboding settled upon the campsite. The campers gathered around the flickering fire, their voices hushed, as if unconsciously sensing the presence of something sinister lurking beyond the veil of shadows. Suddenly, amidst the stillness of the night, a haunting melody floated through the air, carried by an unseen force. The soft strains of country music reached their ears, mingling with the rustling of leaves and the distant whispers of the wind. Confusion and bewilderment gripped the campers. They knew none among them possessed a stereo. So from whence did this spectral melody emanate? Driven by equal parts curiosity and trepidation, one of the campers, their heart pounding in their chest, cautiously poked their head out of the tent. Their eyes widened with horror as they beheld a chilling sight, the silhouette of a bald man meticulously rummaging through their campsite, collecting their belongings as he traversed the area. A primal instinct to protect oneself surged within the camper, but it was quickly overridden by a silent message conveyed by the intruder. The bald man, locking eyes with the petrified camper, placed a finger to his lips, urging them to silence as a haunting shh escaped his lips. Overwhelmed by fear, the camper retreated into the sanctuary of their sleeping bag, trembling with each passing second. As the night wore on, the stranger pilfered their belongings, leaving behind only an unsettling void where their possessions once lay. The campers huddled together, their minds spinning with questions and fear coursing through their veins. Who was this bald intruder, and what sinister motives propelled him to invade their sanctuary in the dead of night? Days later, as the group emerged from the depths of the wilderness, they discovered a dark truth lurking beneath the pristine facade of northern Ontario. It turned out that the vast, uncharted territory harbored a significant hermit population, individuals who had chosen a life of isolation within the depths of the wilderness. These hermits, shrouded in mystery, roamed the remote corners of the land, hidden from society's prying eyes. They were the echoes of forgotten souls, living on the fringes of civilization, perpetuating legends and tales that sent shivers down the spines of those who dared to tread their territory.